Hi, welcome to Wasted Lunch, the perfect place to waste your lunch. I'm Paul McVeigh, and let's see, what is it? Oh my gosh, what day is today? My goodness, lost track of it. Where are we at here? Tuesday, guys? Oh my goodness. That's some sad stuff. No, it isn't. It's Monday. Oh my gosh. There's some kind of time thing or something there. What the hell happened? Jeez, mix my days up again. You ever do that? That's always weird, isn't it? Mixing the old days up. Oh my gosh. I don't like doing that. Thought it was Tuesday for a second. Well, I guess that's better than thinking it's Friday. Then I would have been way off. But, anyways, had a pretty good weekend. Got out in the Amish country there. It's always nice to drive out in Amish country in the fall when there's still leaves on the trees. It's kind of a tradition to at least get that one drive in there where get out and about and enjoy the color of the leaves. Let's see, I forgot to say, time is 12 o'clock p.m. Oven Standard right now as we speak. Wow. Yeah, good weekend though. Got out and about the Amish country and looked at those beautiful leaves coming down. Very enjoyable. It's almost like being in a different, it's almost like being in a foreign place when you get out in the country there in Amish country. It's kind of like going back in time almost. The houses aren't crowded together. The farms are wider apart. There's rolling hills without buildings and houses glued all over them. It's nice. It's nice. I'm lucky to have that. I'm lucky to have that available to me where I live. You know, it's easy to bellyache about things that I don't have or places I'm not at, but to be positive and look at the good things. Amish country is a beautiful place, it really is, and that's why people from the big city flock to it. It's why people from all over Ohio and people from out of state actually show up to go through Ohio's Amish country. And I'm only a stone's throw away, so I should consider myself lucky. Because it is. It's beautiful, it's simple, but, you know, some of the towns, there's a little town and it's spelled like Berlin, but locally it is pronounced Berlin. Okay. Now, I would have to say it's clearly named after the city in Germany, Berlin, but it is pronounced locally Berlin. But that is a big, thriving tourist town. It's small as heck, very tiny. But the main street is jam-packed with flourishing stores, gift shops, a couple little restaurants, snack food joints, and it is huge as far as the weekends and being busy. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. The sidewalks are packed with people, and like I said, they're from all over. They're from all over Ohio, and there are people from out of state also that come to see Ohio's Amish country. I believe we have the largest Amish community in the United States. So I don't know. It's a big thing tourist wise. Something I did not grow up inside of Amish country, but just outside of it a bit, and so growing up, the whole there's Amish people living around here. It's never been, as a kid, it wasn't that strange. It wasn't that odd, foreign to me, because I did grow up seeing a horse and carriage go down past the front of my house, every other day. And so it wasn't that strange. Even though I don't live in Amish country, there are Amish who live within Stark County. Okay. But, people from an hour away or so from where I live, even further from Amish country, a lot of those people, I mean, I think it's a novelty to them. And hence, they want to go to Amish country. They want to see the handmade goods and the homemade food and all that good stuff. And they spend a lot of money on that experience. You can go into Amish country and pay some money, go on a buggy ride through a farm that's, I don't know if it's still Amish, or at least it used to be. What's up, Sean? How's it going? I was talking about Amish country. I'm sure you've been there. I'm sure you went for a drive through there with your folks. I'm sure you've been through Amish country a few times, I would imagine. Growing up, that was, for my parents taking us for a ride through there, it was an escape. Not that we were in a large, thriving metropolis, but it was an escape to the country. And for a lot of people, that's what it is. And now it's the same for me and my kids. Followed right along in footsteps of my parents in regards to that. So, it's nice. It's a nice place to get away. And so I'm lucky because, in half an hour or whatever, it's almost like you just drove back in time 100 years in a lot of these places. Let's see. Sean says, I went on a field trip there in the 4th grade. Now that sounds cool. I don't think, myself, I don't recall having a field trip in Amish country. That would have been cool though. But, I remember going to a farm one time, and I do not know if it was currently owned by Amish still, but we got to go on a horse and carriage ride through the property. It's a real big farm, and rode on a horse and carriage thing there, and of course they had a gift shop. But it was nice. Sean says, I believe it was Yoder Farm. And if you're not from an area where there's Amish, I'll tell you right now, Yoder is one of the most common Amish names, isn't it? Isn't it, Sean? You know that. To the point where they call the vans that, the Amish refer to people who are not Amish as the English. Okay. And since they're not allowed to drive cars and stuff, they will pay people to drive a van and transport them to stores like Walmart and stuff like that. And Yoder is such a popular name that those vans have been nicknamed Yoder Toters. So, now, but I figured I'd share that with you. Yoder and Miller. Those are very, very common names. Which Miller's a pretty common last name anyways. I mean, hell, I've known lots of people with Miller as a last name who were not Amish. So, Miller is a common last name, but especially with the Amish. There are lots of Millers, lots of Yoders. But, so, It's kind of like Yoder is like Smith to them. It's a very common name. But, yeah. Now I was in Sugar Creek over the weekend, which is sometimes called Little Switzerland. Okay, and in the main street, which is actually a hill, going down a hill, the businesses, the fronts of all the buildings are in an alpine motif or style. Let's see, Sean says 5. Do you mean that's how old you were when you went to Yoder Farm? 5 years old. Or 5th grade. Maybe that's what you're saying. Okay, Sean said don't mind that. Okay. But Sugar Creek, yeah, I think it's called the Little Switzerland, and they have what was, or at least is claimed to be the world's largest cuckoo clock, which actually used to be not in downtown Sugar Creek. It used to be not in town. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was outside of a restaurant called Alpine Alpa. But the huge clock, they moved the whole thing, moved it into Sugar Creek, and has practically life-sized little people that pop out every hour and look like they're in a polka band and come out, and there's music and stuff every hour. People will gather around the clock and wait for the hour to change, take pictures and video, record the cuckoo clock going off every hour. So I think it might go off on the half hour too. I can't remember. But it's a cool little thing to watch, cool show. But I also have a Swiss History Museum in Sugar Creek, which I've been in there, and that place is cool. I think it's actually free. They ask, they take donations, but I'm pretty sure you can go through it for free. But it's really cool for such a small town. They got a really nice museum there. It's well worth seeing if you're ever in that town. I don't know what the hours are or anything like that. But, and that's another thing. Sugar Creek, like a lot of towns in the Amish country, when it comes to Sundays, you might as well not go to these places, because usually on Sundays, everything's closed in these little towns in Amish country. The Amish do observe the Sabbath as a day of rest, so not a lot happening on Sundays in these towns. So, but the Swiss History Museum, or Swiss American, I don't know what the heck it's called exactly. It's not hard to find if you go into Sugar Creek, but got a real nice museum. Has history of cheese making. That the Swiss brought their style of making cheese and stuff to this country, and there's a few floors to it too. It's not just a one-floor deal, okay? And they got one of those giant alpine horns, one of those Alp horns. One of them, you've seen the Ricola commercials. Let's see, Sean's asking, is that a dog painting on the walls? That is a Scooby-Doo coloring out of a coloring book. One of the kids colored that. I'm not sure who colored that in, but that's Scooby-Doo up there. Let me tilt the camera for you. See? That is, but yeah, it's a great museum. It's free. It's worth going into. It's worth donating some bucks to help keep it running. Usually there's somebody wearing traditional Swiss clothing. What's up, Tina? How we doing? But Sugar Creek's a nice little town. It is not nearly as packed as you would think. Sean says, how was Jimmy's birthday? Well, I'll admit, we didn't really have a big bash for Jimmy. I think it's due to the fact that Jimmy ends up having a birthday every couple weeks, you know. So we don't celebrate it as much as we used to, because it's kind of getting repetitious, to be honest with you. But I will say this, Jimmy did get some new clothes. Jimmy got some new pants and a shirt. If anybody's wondering who Jimmy is, that is that is my daughter's baby doll. She, of course, prefers to believe he is real. So she gets really offended if you mention that Jimmy's a doll. But anyways, Jimmy tends to have birthdays every couple weeks, so. Sean says, how old is he now? Like 30? I'll bet he's at least 20. I'm guessing he's at least in his 20s. I've never kept track of how many birthdays that kid's had, but still the same size, you know. He hasn't grown much. But yeah, he did get a new outfit. My daughter had a couple bucks the other day, and we went to a thrift store, so I helped her pick out some clothes for little Jimmy there. And so he's got a sweatshirt and some sweatpants, so looks pretty snazzy on him. But yeah, good old Jimmy. So what's going on with you today, Sean? Are you snorting laundry? Or sorting laundry? Sorry, I can't help but keep that a running gag. I'm just picturing, you know, you with half a blanket jammed in your nose. Let's see, Sean says he's going to be 100 by next year. Yeah, he's getting old quick. I wish I could stay as youthful looking as Jimmy. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to be baby size or anything like that. But, you know, I think I could handle the age I am and just staying that age for a long time. I think I could handle that. One of the problems with getting older is your stuff starts to break down, you know? You gotta keep getting more glasses, stronger glasses, and more dental work. The back gets worse. Getting old's a tough racket. What somebody a lot older than me told me when I was in my 20s was getting older is not for wimps. That man was right. It's not. You know, grew up hearing older people talk about how they had to get this and that medical thing performed to them, and then all of a sudden you're that guy getting all that medical shit done to you. You know, it changes, and you never thought you'd be that guy, but it happens. So all part of the aging process, I guess. All part of the aging process. Which, it's interesting. I started watching let's see, Sean says with cerebral palsy and a bad back, my stuff broke down when I was like 3, LOL. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know you had cerebral palsy. Oh, and you got a bad back. Damn. Well, I'd have to say, dude, that whatever you're doing, you know, I'd have to say whatever you're doing, Sean, that you're handling life rather well. You know, I'm not saying you don't go through any pain or anything like that, but like I said, dude, I didn't know you had cerebral palsy. No clue. But, you know, let's see, Sean saying one of my legs is longer than the other one. Wow. I didn't know that. So does that, I would imagine that helps make your back hurt worse. Let's see, Sean says, I also have flat feet. Yeah, wow, I didn't know all this stuff. News. So, Does walking give you trouble? I mean, I've never noticed, when I've seen you walking around, I've never noticed you having any troubles with it. You know what? I think I'm going to turn off that light back behind me. Right. Oh, shit. That's not the light switch. That was the garbage disposal. Try this switch. Woo. There we go. All right. There we go. Turn that switch off. That light was just kind of glowing there. Sean says, yeah, especially long distances. Oh, shit, dude. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I could imagine that would make things a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I had no idea, dude. No clue. No clue at all. And I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about cerebral palsy. I'm not very informed, which I think that's one of the, let's see, Sean says, good thing your hand was not down the drain when you hit that switch, huh? Yeah, damn good thing, which makes me think there was a commercial one time. I think I even mentioned it. I don't know if we talked about it on the show. Did you ever see that commercial? The guy rewired his kitchen and was digging down the drain for something, and his wife comes in the room and is about to flip a light switch, and he's like second guessing whether or not he wired the stuff right. I don't know what the commercial was for, but it was a good one. It really was a good commercial. Can't remember what the hell it was for. But yeah, dude had his hand down the drain, and his wife comes in the room, and she's like, oh, you rewired or something like that, and he's about to flip the switch, and he's like, doing one of them deals, like he's like, oh shit, did I do that right? And, oh yeah, I wish I could remember what that was for. No clue. I started watching a different, to me, a new show. It's not a new show, but it's a show that's been around for decades. But I just started watching it kind of regularly on YouTube. And that was a show called Red Green. Guys, let me know if you ever seen the Red Green show. Sean says, I remember reading a story about a woman throwing a guy's yin-yang in a garbage disposal. Oh, wow. Man. Oh, gosh. Sean, I got this problem with actually picturing stuff when people tell me. You knew that. Oh, gosh. And now I'm just picturing that. Oh, that's horrible. Damn. Mike, what's going on? How we doing, Mike? Sean just told me about the story about a woman throwing a guy's, and I will quote, yin-yang in a garbage disposal, unquote. Ah, gosh, that's horrible. Wow. See how quick these subjects change. Wow. Talking about nice, tranquil Amish country 1 second, and a guy's junk being thrown in a garbage disposal the next. Gosh, what a sick lady. And here's the thing. They put out those stories like that, like the Bobbitt thing or whatever, and they're very sensational, and I think the news has fun and humor with that. But I'll tell you what, it seems like they don't put out a lot of stories like that with stuff happening to women, which I don't want to hear either story, really. But they don't, if it was the other way around, I don't think they'd be as humorous as they sometimes are in the news about dudes. Sean says, you at that point, I think it may be time for a divorce. Yeah, I think it's time. I think at that point, the ties have definitely been severed. Mike says, Bobbitt type shit, yeah. Sean says, and of course I put you instead of yeah. Yeah. You at that point. Oh, yeah, that's Oh gosh, that's one of those things that can't help but cringe if you try to personalize that, trying to imagine yourself in that situation. It's painful to think about. Oh gosh. Of course, by the time she got to the garbage disposal with the man's stuff, he had already been through something horrific, obviously, before that. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Mike says it's a euphemism. Y-O-U-phemism. Yeah. That's one of them things that I can't help but shifting around when I hear shit like that. Kind of shifting around, wiggling around. I think it's kind of just to make sure everything's still there, I guess. Kind of unsettling feeling. Wow. Thanks, John, for making everything uncomfortable for a second there. Yeah, the news likes those stories, though. They do. They enjoy that stuff. And I remember the Bobbitt thing. Oh my gosh, all the jokes that came out after that. I think me and Mike were in junior high when that shit happened. I think. But, that guy ended up getting reattached, and ended up being in at least one adult film. I didn't see the movie. I didn't rush out to see it. But John Wayne Bobbitt or something like that, I think his name was. But he got it reattached and ended up in an adult film. Sean says, yeah, I found it funny at first, but then I got to thinking that has to be incredibly painful and probably not the most enthusiastic situation to be in. That is an understatement, Sean, about enthusiastic situation. Oh, gosh. Damn. There are some things that just, wow. Horrible. But yeah, that's the thing. There are a lot of people joking, and I'll tell you what, there are a lot more ladies joking about that shit than there were dudes. I remember that. A lot of dudes crossing their legs when they heard that story is what happened. But wow, yeah, good old John Bobbitt there. I can't remember what happened to the wife, how much time she got, if she went to prison or whatever. I can't remember. Can't remember if she tried to justify it through she was beaten up or some crap like that. I don't know. I don't remember it very much. It's one of those stories that, you hear about it, and I did not go out of my way to find out a lot of information about it. I went out of my way to try and forget it. But something like that, you never truly forget. But yeah. So, my goodness. Damn it, Sean. Why'd you have to say that shit? Is there any excitement going on today, guys? Any big happenings? Today, I'm just trying to get back on my schedule again. I've been getting off of my schedule. I've been trying to do that treadmill stuff every day, and I'll admit it. I got away from that. Lost my footing there, so to speak. I need to get myself back on that treadmill every day. But that's a problem with weekends. If you're trying to stick to some kind of exercise regimen or whatever, and then you treat the weekend like it's vacation time, you end up screwing that shit up. So I have come to the conclusion it's very important to carry on with my exercise routine on the weekend just as if it were the weekday, you know. Sean says, yeah, you are 100% correct, Paul. If Guy had done that, which I do not know how he could, he would be demonized. Nobody would have thought it was funny, and you know some vigilante citizens would be waiting to pull a Freddy Krueger on him and burn his ass. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I don't think there would be any jokes about it. You know, I'm not being sexist. I'm just being factual. That seems to be how, you know, the news has its, you know, has the places it goes and the twists they put on things, and they kind of got their own rules, and I don't think they'd be joking about it if it were, yeah, a guy doing something horrible to a woman, which would be horrible, but a lady doing that to a dude is horrible too. But I remember, you know, the news sensationalizing that John Bobbitt shit. Oh wow. Yeah. But yeah, exercise, man. That's where I screw up. Them weekends come along and I treat myself good, too good, over good, ultra good. But then again, you know what, guys? I did do a lot of walking on the weekend, real walking, not treadmill walking. So that means something too. Boy, it's getting about that time of the year. It's time to pull out those old, goofy-ass looking sweaters if you got them. You know, those ugly-ass sweaters. Those sweaters that, you know, look like puke. You know, the sweaters that, you know, have reindeers and shit on them and stuff like that. You know, when it gets colder, it seems you're allowed to wear goofier looking shit. Did you ever notice that? When it gets cold, it's almost like people have a license to wear goofy stuff. Because it's cold. It's like, well, they're wearing that to keep warm. They're allowed to. You know, you can actually wear some pretty goofy looking shit when it comes into wintertime. You know, and people won't question it. Boots, hats, get away with all kinds of goofy shit. I got a Kermit the Frog hat. I'll sport that baby. You know, stocking cap with Kermit's head on it. Looks like somebody skinned Kermit the Frog alive. Sean says, I thought it was funny at first until I saw a video with women joking about it, and it instantly became the most scary thing ever. Yeah. Well, see? See what I mean? Shit like that. Ugh. Yeah. Sean says, I actually do not have a ugly sweater. Should probably get some. Yeah, get some. Treat yourself to the worst. You're allowed to. You're allowed to have an ugly ass sweater. Like I said, you know, pay attention to that stuff as it gets colder. Mike, Mike, I'm sure sees it a lot too. He lives around Buffalo, New York, for crying out loud. You know, Blizzard Central. But yeah, you're allowed to wear goofy shit. Even when you're a grown up, you're allowed to wear goofy stuff because you're trying to stay warm. But you know, as something comforting in those clothes, though. I love the summer. It is my favorite season. Period. Okay. I'm not going to sit around and bullshit anybody and lie and say, oh, I love the fall because of changing of the leaves. I mean, it's pretty, but that stuff only lasts for a week or so. Sean says, one day you should wear that frog hat on wasted lunch. Maybe I'll do that. Jimmy's joining us now. What's up, Jimmy? Mike says, people are goofy looking all year long around here. Okay, well, you know what? If last time I was in that part of New York, I was probably 5 years old, so I don't recall. So Mike's saying people were goofy looking all year long around there. Jimmy throws us a thumbs up. We're just talking about how when wintertime, the colder it gets, the goofier the clothes you can get away with wearing. You know, people care less about what you're wearing. I mean, I don't really care too much about what people think about what I'm wearing any time of the year. So, but you know, I don't dress too extravagant too much of the year. But wintertime, yeah, you can wear whatever you want because you're trying to stay warm. Get out the goofy ass boots and scarf and one of the things I got that I whip out in the winter is a scarf that's about 10 feet long. Got about a 10-foot long, maybe, yeah, I'd say about 10-foot long scarf. A la Doctor Who style. Okay, like Tom Baker when he was playing Doctor Who. I got, if anybody even knows who the hell I'm talking about. Anyways, I got a big ass scarf like that. I don't know what it's made out of. Llama fur or some shit like that. Knitted. But that baby's warm. I can wrap that around my head and neck and everything else. See, Sean says you probably wouldn't see someone wearing a huge coat and 5 layers of clothes in the summer. Yeah, you don't see that shit too often. Mike says, very large community of Polish people in western New York. Jimmy says, I'm one of the winter lovers. Give me some snow and a Carhartt and I'm good. Yeah, it's comforting having those nice warm clothes, Sean says, don't tell Archie that Michael... I'm at a loss for words. I don't understand that quite yet. Let's see. Mike says, Doctor Who's a woman now. I must say she does a good job. Oh my gosh. See, I have not been following stuff. Oh my gosh. A woman is Doctor Who? He's regenerated into a female form. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I haven't been following it. Wow. A woman. No shit. That's never happened till now. That is so weird. Wow. And she does a good job of it. Jeez. Yeah, I've seen some newer Doctor Who's, but Sean says Archie from All in the Family wasn't a huge fan of Polish folks. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I did not know a whole lot about Polish culture until I met my wife, who's Polish. She's from Cleveland, and Cleveland has quite it has a large number of Polish people. So I got to learn all about polka music and everything else, and a whole bunch of things, and Polish food, which has not done me any good at all. It has not helped me at all. It's helped me gain a lot of damn weight. That's what it's done for me. Mike says, Matt Smith is my favorite doctor. Okay, I know who you're talking about. Skinny dude. Yeah, I know who Matt Smith is, but wow, I'm new to this woman Doctor Who. That's surprising. Yeah, winter though. Jimmy was talking about a Carhartt. I've never had one of those. I was looking at those the other day in a store and thought, man, always thought about getting one, but I've never gotten one. But they keep you pretty warm, do they? Yeah, I've never worn one, but I've thought about it. John says he called them Polacks. That's right. Archie, All in the Family you're talking about. That's right. He had a son-in-law who was Polish. He called him Meathead, didn't he? Boy, Archie seemed to hate everybody. Foreigners. He he was pretty racist, wasn't he? Blacks, whites, Jews. I think he hated everybody equally. Well, I guess not whites, but unless they were foreign, then he'd make fun of them. Boy, All in the Family, talk about a show that was really ahead of its time. My gosh. Then you had spin-offs from it. What wasn't Jefferson's a spin-off from All in the Family there? All in the Family is a show I wouldn't mind having that collection of the whole series of. Because I know I haven't seen all of the episodes of All in the Family. But that was a good one. Good old Archie Bunker. I remember back in the days, I worked for my uncle who was an antique dealer. And he had an Archie Bunker baby doll. And it was funny because it was anatomically correct. I can't remember if it peed or not. Jimmy says $80 at Burlington most times of the year. I got one 8 years ago and haven't gone without one since. They'd be worth it at, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, twice the price. Wow. So Jimmy is a Carhartt man. Yeah, well, it'd be worth looking into for me, because I don't like being cold. Sean says he wasn't a fan of African Americans either, especially George Jefferson. Yeah, I remember, I think George Jefferson would say something like, I don't know, complain about being in a honky house or something. I can't, because, old George was, he had his racism, I think, against white people too. So they'd every now and then have both of them, and they'd of course be at odds. But which is funny because what's his name? Carol Connors, guy who played Archie Bunker in real life, was completely not racist, from what I've read. It was, well, he's an actor. If he's still with us, I don't know. But yeah, I watched the Jeffersons and All in the Family. But that's when I was a kid. I was not a religious TV watcher, so. But I wouldn't mind watching some of them again. Those were good. I'll tell you what, going back to the winter clothing thing, guys. One time I made the mistake of getting those boots. Those duck-looking boots. Got a pair of those that were had steel shank in them, I think it was called. And those damn things would freeze my feet off. You ever wear those boots and they have, like a steel insole and they freeze like hell? Mike says, I believe he has moved on. Okay. So, we're thinking was it Carol O'Connor? I can't remember. Alright, Mike's thinking he's passed away. He was good. I remember him being in the Heat of the Night, too. Did you ever see that show? Down south, I think it was. I think he was a small-town sheriff or something. I think it was. I don't know. It's been forever since I've seen it. It wasn't a bad show, though. But, yeah. You ever get those boots with steel shank in them or whatever? I think they're called steel shanks. And then I had some of those one time. Froze my damn feet off. The metal in them would get cold and freeze like hell. Now I got some boots that are approved for, like -50 or some shit, and those babies keep me warm. Sean says, I remember Lionel saying his father is practically white and only acted black when he was around Archie. Oh shit, yeah, I remember Lionel. He was all right. Of course, Archie wasn't all right with him. Oh gosh, he said his father was practically white. Sean says In the Heat of the Night was in Sparta, Mississippi. Okay. I remember, I don't remember a whole lot of the episodes All in the Family, what exactly the story was, but I do remember the one where he got a blood transfusion from a black guy. And he found out the guy was black after he had the blood transfusion. Anybody remember that one? That was some good shit right there. I believe he was talking to the guy for a while. There was a partition between their beds, and he thought the guy was white for the longest time, and then found out he was black, and at the very end of the episode, and that was funny as hell. I remember that one distinctly. Let's see, Mike says, hate them. I have to buy the ones with composite toes because it's so cold here. So Mike knows what kind of boots I'm talking about. Yeah, I had those one time and I thought, oh, they're going to keep my feet dry and warm. Yeah, those were horrible, horrible. Got steel in them, which, I guess makes them tougher, but that metal gets cold and then your feet freeze off. Yeah, now I got some kind of boots that are, like I said, they're approved for some kind of ridiculous cold temperature, and they seem to work. And when you got feet as big as mine, once they get cold, you are really suffering. Because I got really big feet, and once they get cold, it takes so long to heat up. But, yeah, warm clothes, though. Warm clothes are fun part of the season, though. Getting to have that nice warm coat. For Jimmy, it's wearing his Carhartts. For me, it's getting those dusty ass boots out of the closet, throwing them babies on, and I don't know. There's something fun about it. I like the snow. But that should be right around the corner. Sean says Archie, Edith, George, Lewis, and Lionel have all passed on to the other side. Wow. Yeah. Well, that was some time ago, too. That was a long-ass time ago, Wow. I mean, that show was older when I was a kid. Wow. That's a good show. Sanford and Son, loved the hell out of that show. Now, that's a show I did make sure I got all the seasons, got the complete series of Sanford and Son. That was one of my favorites growing up. Fred G. Sanford. Okay. I wondered if that's what you meant. Sean said, sorry, I meant Louise, not Lewis. Okay. I wondered about that. But, Wheezy. Called her Wheezy, didn't he? Moving on up. Yeah, man. Witches. Yeah, good old Jeffersons. And then there was Good Times. I remember that show, too. Remember Good Times. I'm not saying it had anything to do with Archie Bunker, but I remember that show. It always made me think of the Jeffersons because it was set in an apartment. Let's see. So what's everybody got going on today? What's everybody doing today? Jimmy, you got more tiles and shit? Did you ever get done with those tiles? Mike, did you get your deck done? Sean says the guy who played Lionel was in his mid to late 50s when he passed. Yeah. Well, Archie there, Carol, I can't remember if it was O'Connor. I think it was Carol O'Connor. He must have been a lot older than that when he passed away, because he wasn't young in Heat of the Night. Shit. Jimmy says, I'm fairly certain that Need for Speed has made me the superb winter driver I am. The snow makes drifting around corners way easier. Who else is a professional drifter come winter? Oh, gosh. Well, I'll tell you, I don't think of myself as a professional drifter, but I do like driving in the snow. Okay, I don't drive very fast, but then again, you got to understand, I am used to driving with kids in the car a lot of the time. Sean says, I think he died of throat cancer. Yeah, that's terrible. Sean also says Carol was 76. He was 76 years old, huh? Wow. Yeah, he was good. He was a good actor. Drifting, snow driving. No, I've never done any drifting on purpose ever. To be honest with you, never have. Um, never have done any drifting. Looks fun, looks exciting, but no, I'm not a professional drifter driver. Um, and that's another thing we're talking about it. And I mean, does anybody think we're going to have? Now, Mike, you're up in New York, so chances are, where you're at, you're definitely going to get snow. But down here, Northeast Ohio, it's we might have a horrible winter, we might not, snow-wise. What do you guys think? You guys think Ohio's going to get pounded this winter? Mike, you guys pretty much always get snow, right? You guys think we're going to get killed or what? Sean's telling us Rob Reiner, who played Michael Meathead Stivic, is currently 71. So Evo, the younger ones, are getting up there. Teresa, what's happening? What's happening, babe? My wife and producer is watching now. We were talking about All in the Family and winter time, which I'm pretty sure my wife thinks we're going to get blasted with snow. Jimmy says, got sent to the next site because we finally finished Fred Martin's Monster Tile. Now I'm out in Ashland flooring a monster facility and carpet VCT and ceramic. Not the best pay scale. It's like $5 pay cut. That stinks. Teresa says, hi. Hello. How's work? Hope it's going great. Now, yeah, Teresa thinks we're going to get a horrible winter this year. Last year wasn't too bad. Teresa says, on break. All right, well, good. Sean says, even the, not Evo the. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were speaking French or something. EVOTAGE. I thought you were getting fancy. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a pretty decent winter this year, meaning lots of snow. It has been a while since we've gotten really, really heavy-duty snow. It seems like it's about time. Teresa says we thought supposed to get snow on Saturday. Mike says we live inside the snow belt, so probably going to get shit on. Okay, Teresa corrected herself. She put we are supposed to get snow on Saturday. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Saturday treats us, if it's snowy. It's not, I don't know what the hell the temperature is outside. I know the house is not as warm as usual. And that's the thing, you have your thermostat set for a certain temperature in the house. Let's say you leave it at 70, all year round. Well, it doesn't consistently keep at 70 degrees, When it gets cold, you can feel that stuff. You can feel it's getting colder in the house because all of a sudden you're not staying as warm as you should in the winter. But that's when you pull out those ugly ass sweaters. That's what those are for. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll go ahead and predict a snowy winter. There. I don't know if we'll get it Saturday or not. Teresa says Christmas in the Village. Okay. There's going to be a Christmas in the Village. What are the details on the Christmas in the Village? We're going to, let's see, on Saturday. Okay, Christmas in the Village is on Saturday. I don't know the whole times and all that jazz. So if you want to mention that, Teresa, go ahead. You know that stuff better than I do. Sean says, I love snow. I remember when my one friend dared me to snort it around 5 years back. Did not feel good. So Sean was snorting snow. Mike says that's because the cold air sucks all the humidity out of your house. Makes it feel colder. Huh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. Because, you know, for humidity, it's got to be warm. So that makes sense, Mike. I'm going to try and get out in my shop more. Maybe even broadcast from in the shop. See, Teresa's telling me I got to go. Love you. Love you too. You have a great day, and I will see you later. Listen to me sounding all professional and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to try and get out in the shop more. The thing is, for my warmth and heat in my shop / garage, which is where my shop is, what I have for heat are, oh my gosh, I can't remember what the hell these things, parabolic heaters. Guys ever hear of parabolic heaters? Ever hear of those? It's a fancy term for a thing that looks like a fan that shoots out heat. It's like infrared type heat. Let's see. Jimmy says the wealthier hoods and parking lots are the best for the drifting. LOL. I'm a horrible person then because I've taken my nephews drifting and slipping around Massillon Walmart's property. BTW, the cigarette lighter in a car doubles as a turbo button. And the boys now know not to hit the turbo button on a Ford Focus. The Lambo. LMAO. Nice. Nice. Well, and here's the thing. Going off of that, no, believe me, I'm not passing judgment. I will tell you this. We used to go to church on Sunday, every Sunday. And in the wintertime when it was snowing, my dad would take us to parking lots and banks and stuff like that. And my dad would be doing donuts all over the place. So, I mean, he would be hauling ass. And this would be like right after church, dude. We'd go into big parking lots and shopping centers and places like that. And like Gold Circle, if you guys remember Gold Circle. And my dad would start hauling ass and just hit the brakes and start fishtailing and stuff. And when we were kids, we loved it. We loved it. It's just me, I think, with as bad of tires as we have too. I'd have 4 flats the first time I tried that shit. Mike says Sean snorts snow makes me think of Booger and Better Off Dead. I think you mean, Better Off Dead, yes. Which I watched not that long ago. Better Off Dead, great friggin' movie. Great movie. Thanks for the reference, Mike. Yeah, this mountain is pure snow. The dude snorting snow because they live in such a small town he can't get a hold of real drugs. So he's always improvising. Better Off Dead with John Cusack, great movie. Sean says, I remember we also used to push our sleds on the ice run and then jump on them, and we would fall back hitting the ground. I think I hit my head once. Damn, dude. Sean says, I can't feel my face. Do you know the street value of this mountain? Yeah, guys, if you don't know the reference to that, you gotta watch Better Off Dead with John Cusack. Jimmy says the good old days. Yeah. Jonah saying good afternoon. Good afternoon, Jonah. We're talking about fun in the snow. Whether you drive like an idiot through a parking lot, like Jimmy and my dad used to do. Like I said, Jimmy, I think one of the biggest reasons, I did say it, I'm a dad and I drive kids around a lot, but another one of the things is I just friggin' do not have good tires ever. Jimmy says ROFLMAO. I'm picturing you rolling on the floor right now, dude. See, Sean says, or when I was planning Truth or Dare with my brother and his friends, and I was dared to run outside barefoot in the snow all around the backyard. When I got back to the porch, the door was locked, bastards. Whoops, I gotta hit the Seymour Krellboyne button. When I got back to the porch, the door was locked. In other words, Paul, Do you want to play truth or dare with us? No, I do not want to. And I have had the barefoot in the snow dare before. I've done that one. I think, most people have done that shit. And I will, at the risk of sounding racially insensitive, my children, most of whom are Polish or part Polish, these guys will walk around in bare feet, okay, to get the groceries out of the car in the winter, okay? They don't give a shit. There's snow outside. These kids will walk out to the car in bare feet. Now, like I said, I'm taking the risk of sounding ethnically insensitive. My wife will go ahead and blame it on Polishness, which I guess she's allowed to get away with it because she's Polish, but I'm not. Although I do anyways. But these guys will walk right out to the friggin' van in bare feet in the snow and shit, and they don't care. Jonah says, Sean, you were scared to go skinny dipping in a cold pool. You went as far as stripping down but didn't jump in. Okay, so Sean enjoyed showing his naked nethers to you guys, but he wouldn't jump in a cold pool. Now, I went to Houston one time. Hung out with some people in Houston, and the weather was it was around 50 degrees or so. Okay, which is, it's not freezing cold, but it's not warm. And these people would not dare get in their pool. Okay, these Texans. And so I had to show them how Ohio boys do it. And so I jumped in their pool, which was cold. But, I was being cool, so, I did not scream or anything like that, not after choosing to be an idiot to jump in a cold pool. I had to show off. I'm from Ohio. I could take this shit, But it was cold. It was cold. And then I hopped in their hot tub, which was connected to the pool. That was nice. Sean says, we also used to run on ice and jump on it. Sometimes the ice would break and our feet would be frozen for the next half hour. Done that before. Done that. Used to go out and walk on these big puddles. I had these big puddles in our driveway. Our driveway was gravel or partially gravel for ages, and have these big ass puddles because it was mud and gravel. And we'd go walking on the puddles, and then they'd crack, and then you get the soggy ass foot, and then like an idiot still play outside. Jonah says, so I don't feel as bad to hear you got locked out in the snow. Woo. Jonah does not sympathize or does not feel bad for you about being locked out. That's some cold shit, man. Cold. Literally. Yeah, I think we've all gotten the soggy foot thing. Like I said that one time, my one son, he ended up going through the ice on a sled. But luckily it wasn't that deep, but it was deep enough for him to get soaking wet, which was kind of scary. But sled riding, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go sled riding. But then again, see, that's the thing. That's the thing about this part of the state. There's no guarantee you're going to have snow. So, no guarantee you're going to be whipping out those sleds left and right. Because, the only thing for certain is we're going to have some cold-ass days. But that doesn't mean we're going to have snow. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but I swear, when we have those bone-chilling-ass days, where it's like negative double digits, it doesn't seem to snow on those days. I don't know the science behind it. I'm just a Metro Billy. I'm not a meteorologist, but did you guys ever notice that shit? Seems like when it is super ass cold, it's not snowing. That's not to say it didn't snow before that, and there's still snow in the ground, but it seems like those days when it is idiotic cold, it's not snowing. It does to me, anyways. Jimmy says, LOL, we used to run across a tusk behind Erie in winter and over the highway behind my grandpa's shop, Grimminger's Transmission. I didn't know that was your grandpa's shop. My dad used to take his stuff there. That's cool. Used to run across a tusk. Damn. You would not want to fall through that shit. Oh my gosh. It'd be horrible to fall into the tusk. Sean says, hey, let me tell, after running around in the snow barefoot, the heater was not enough to warm them up. It was awful. Next time, Jonah, when we play Truth or Dare, I will, so no mercy, ha ha ha. Damn, he's out for blood here, Jonah. Jonah says, I remember walking on the ice at the reservoir and making snow angels on the ice. I would hate getting my feet wet in the wintertime. It would always freeze your foot off. Paul, you should bring your kids to the reservoir to go sled riding down the hill by the basketball courts. You know what? Now that you mention it, I remember being a very small child. We had a huge toboggan. And I'm talking when I was like 5 years old. This is way the hell back. And I think we tobogganed over there where you're talking, where Wellman and whatever that street meet. Jimmy says, never did it alone. Well, that's good. Oh my gosh, I could only imagine. I've never been across the Tusk when it was frozen over. Never. I sure as hell wouldn't do it now with how much I weigh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, cold feet for me are bad. You know, because I mean, each one of my feet is about the size of a dwarf's torso, so it's bad when my feet get cold. Jimmy says, I hate taking a hot bath or shower right after work. Feels like your feet are on fire. Yeah, I know that feeling. I got frostbite one time when I was a kid, walking home from L.A., Lauren Andrews. People who are not familiar, thinking, you lying son of a bitch, you never walked from LA to Ohio. Got frostbite in my hands real bad, and ran them under really cold water. And the cold water felt like it was burning my fingers once I finally got feeling. That's how bad they were frozen. They were real bad. Luckily, I didn't lose any digits, so... But it left me with this weird thing where my hands were sensitive to even the slightest cold for years. Jonah says it's bad enough when you have wet socks, let alone cold feet. Yeah, it's horrible. Jimmy's saying the Tusk freezes over thick as hell in spots. Wow, yeah, dude. I've, I didn't grow up near the Tusk, okay? And I don't think I didn't hang out around the river as much as a lot of people. And it's probably just plainly because I didn't live anywhere near the river. So, anytime I played in the river at all was, I think, springtime and summertime. Played in it over by, I think it's called Spillway, where the river goes like this and just drops off. It's like a man-made, like, waterfall. You probably know what I'm talking about. I think we called it Spillway. But, wow. Never been on it while it was frozen. Oh, wow. That is one muddy river. Did you guys ever see the pictures of that when it flooded over in the earlier 1900s? When they had the big flood, I can't remember what year that was. I don't know, 1915, 1918 or whatever. They got pictures online of it where it flooded downtown really bad before they built the not the reservoir. Come on, guys. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, guys. I lost track of the word. The earthen embankment that keeps the water dammed in along the river. Having a hard time figuring out the damn word for that. Not the reservoir, oh, come on, guys. You guys fill in the blanks here. I don't know why I am having such a hard time thinking of that damn word. It's just one of those moments. Mike says there was water up to J.C. Penney's. Yeah, and that's pretty high up. See, Mike says dike. Mike, come on. We don't need to talk about alternative lifestyles right now. Jimmy says, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was just kidding. Jimmy says, me, Lil Dave, Jericho, and Nate Turley used to swim over at the bottoms and the KFC cliffs all the time in summer. I remember those cliffs. Talk about cool as hell. Wow, you're going way back. Jimmy saying, break wall? Damn it, there's not aqueduct. Viaduct? No. Shit. Michael says it keeps the water in. I know that's what kind of dike you were talking about. I was just having some fun with it. Yeah, come on. Oh my gosh, there's like this one word out there they use for that strip of dirt that goes along the river. Oh my gosh. You don't call it an aqueduct. An aqueduct is one of those things like from Roman time. Anyways, I can't think of the damn word I'm looking for here, guys. But that big ass thing, that thing that's protected downtown Massillon for all these years since it was built. Yeah, Mike says viaduct is a bridge. You're right, because it goes across the river. Wow. And this is after, several cups of coffee, and I'm still, I don't know, I need some WD-40 on the brain. Break some shit loose there. Wow. Yeah, man, I bet the river is fun as hell to play on when it's frozen. Dangerous as shit, though. But, man, I mean, real damn dangerous. I knew some folks who lived outside of Clinton, Ohio, and this whole family, the extended family, had houses all along this one road. And, I mean, with all these families and all these houses combined, they probably owned, damn near a mile of land. And there were several ponds on these properties. And they would freeze up and we'd go play on them. It's funny, I've never ice skated. Never have. But we would slide and slip and slide all over them. You guys remember hitting the ice with your hands with no gloves on? You ever do that? And it's weird because your heel of your palm feels like it's burning as it's grating against the ice, but it's freezing cold. Jimmy says, dude, there was jellyfish in the KFC cliffs. What the hell? I sent them one year and couldn't believe Nate was telling the truth. Okay, I'm guessing you mean sink them? I sink them? Jellyfish? Are you serious? Okay, wow, that would be crazy. What the hell kind of jellyfish could survive that shit? And how to get there? Jimmy says seen. Okay, so you seen them one year. How in the hell could a jellyfish survive? Okay, that water is horrible. I wonder how a jellyfish got in there. What the hell? Jonah says, I would probably be dumb enough to still go out on the river as it is frozen now. I would do stupid shit. I would connect my sled to my grandpa's van and have him pull me down the street with his van. Oh, gosh. Jimmy says, yes, freshwater jellyfish size of a dime. I didn't even know they came that small. What the hell? Are you pulling my leg? Really? I've never even heard of such a thing. That's a little ass jellyfish. Sean says, where are the KFC cliffs? I don't know the best way to get there on foot. They're off of Cherry Road, aren't they? They're the result of that cement factory, aren't they? Doesn't that have something to do with why the hell that cement factory? Jimmy says you'd be surprised at how clean the water was at the spots you'd swim. Wasn't a large area that was clean, but it really was clean. Yeah, I remember going to those cliffs, but I don't think I swam in there. Wow. Yeah, Jimmy's been there a hell of a lot more than I have. Um, so maybe Jimmy could explain where the hell they're at better than I could. But, oh. Yeah, and there's a cave somewhere over by there, too. I know that. I know there's a cave over there. Which, Jimmy, I'm sure you know about that. But, yeah, never swam in that. And then there's a creek. There's a creek down by the water company, and I used to go in there and swim in there every now and then, too. And I think where that is used to go out towards where it ends up spilling out on the spillway on the Tusk, I think. Pretty sure. But you swim in there, too. But I think some people used to call that lake that we're talking about by the cliffs, I could have sworn I've heard people call it Lime Lake. You ever hear that? And I've heard people say that there was machinery down in that lake. I don't know if that's true or not. You know, like cranes or a digger or something being underwater. Jimmy says, dead across the street from the KFC, about 100 yards or so down from the curb to the cliff's edge. They're gone now. They've been filled in because of the housing development they put down there. Are you really? Once again, I'm not up with current affairs. I didn't know that shit. Jonah says, yeah, I know there's a cave over there. I've always wanted to go find it as I know it's close to Maslin Cable. Yeah, there's a cave there. Last time I went there, I was a drunken young adult. Many years ago, obviously. But my brother had went in there along with somebody else. And let's just say my brother is a lot slimmer than I am. So even though I had imbibed quite a few fermented beverages, I still was not going to slip in there. I had enough sense to know I was a little bit portly to be trying to slip in between these big-ass rocks. I didn't want that shit. So I did not go in the cave. My brother did, though, but I didn't. I stayed outside of the cave. I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't like the idea of getting my fat ass jammed inside a cave either. You know, which I think most people can appreciate that. Speedalunkering. And you know what? I couldn't tell you where that cave was. I'd have to show you. More or less. I mean, I believe I could find it by, walking around over there by the cable company. But they filled the damn lake in. Wow. Jimmy says, I think the cliffs are from an old mining company that hit a natural spring and it slowly filled the site. At least that's the rumor I was always told. And yes, they were also called Lime Lake Cliffs. All right, so I'm not imagining things. I did hear that term before. Okay. Yeah. Once again, there's another case where, and I did traipse all around town, but I think because it was such a distance, maybe that's why I didn't trek around there so much. If I would have had a buddy, maybe, that lived right by there, maybe I would have been there more. Jimmy says the caves are behind MCTV's big satellite dish. All right, now that you say that, yeah, that sounds right. That hill drops over behind there, and somewhere over there is damn caves. Yeah, the only reason I ended up being there as an adult is because my brother-in-law and my sister lived on Cliff Street or Cliff Avenue or whatever the hell it's called over there. No wonder it's called Cliff. And they were having a party one night, and we all decided to go walking down there. Jimmy says small entry at foot level and a small gully. Yeah, we went down there, and like I said, I probably could have squeezed in there, but I thought, you know what, the last thing I want to do is be in my cups and stuck in a cave. Didn't sound good to me, so, I did the prudent thing and did not enter. Jonah says that helps me out a lot. I would love to go explore the caves when I have the chance. Well, you're much skinnier than me, so I don't think you'd have a problem there. Like I said, when I look at something as, there's a small space to go in between, and I got to think about, buttering up the sides, buttering those rocks so I can squeeze in. I just prefer not to do it, period. Plain and simple. One of the things I miss about being skinny. Not being able to cram into little, not that I go spelunkering much. Wow. Always wanted to go into those mammoth caves down in Kentucky. Never been there. Drove past the signs dozens of times for all these different caves. Horsehead Cave, Horse Shit Cave, whatever. All these caves while going through Kentucky, and I've never stopped. Always wanted to, but never did. I guess down there in the Mammoth Cave, they've got caves at different levels of experience and physical levels of spelunkering. They got caves that you can walk into that are like gigantic open rooms. They got ones you have to crawl through. All kinds of stuff. Always wanted to go there, but I've never been there. But it's supposed to be, from what I understand, the largest cave system known in the world, or something like that. Mammoth Caves. But I always thought, when I was a kid, I used to think it'd be cool living in a cave, being a damn caveman. I always thought that'd be cool, actually live in a cave. Now I'm an adult, I know better than that shit, but when I was a kid, I used to think that'd be pretty cool. There was a cave also off of 9th Street on the southwest side of Massillon, but they filled that in too. There was a cave. I'd been in that one as a kid. Let's see, Sean says, I don't think I've ever been in a cave. That's interesting. It is interesting. Jimmy says, I used to take my 76 Malibu Classic mudding to the top of Guy Street, to the top of which was just woods and a waste pond for Echo, which BTW is filled with a white mud that's several feet deep. I think it's waste porcelain from production. Always thought that was weird. Yeah, that is weird. I don't know what that shit is. I know what you're talking about, that white creamy ass mud that is not like natural. It's weird. And that shit's dangerous too, It's like quicksand, depending on how soggy it is. So I've seen some weird shit around lakes. Jimmy says the caves made me think of that, because if you took Guy Street to the end, you can get to the caves that way too. There you go. Jimmy says, yes, you've seen it too. Yeah, I've seen that that mud you're talking about, that creamy white shit. I've also seen a mud around lakes that was dangerous shit too, that would like have sand on top of it for maybe like an inch, and then underneath the sand was like a black tarish stuff. I don't know if you guys seen mud or sand like that, have a little bit of sand on top, and I think that black shit is like rotten dead plants, trees, and vegetation. I'm guessing it's like rotten down or broke down plant material, and then it turns into this tarry shit. I've seen it around lakes down in southern Ohio, and used to, I can't remember what it was, Big Bear Lake or some shit like that, and used to go down there, and we would take these long ass branches and stick them in this sand with this muddy tar shit, and just start pushing these long branches straight into this stuff. I mean, like 10-foot branches, and just start shoving them and make them disappear in this stuff. Really weird. That's the closest thing I can think of to quicksand is stuff like that. I've never seen quicksand like in the movies, where the shit's all floating on the water and stuff. Never seen that kind of stuff. You guys ever see quicksand? But closest thing I've seen is like that white creamy shit, which can be dangerous, and then that black tarry shit. I've seen that. But yeah, quicksand in the movies, I don't know how the hell they make it in the movies. It's like they take water and ground up cork or something. It's all floating on there. Never seen it like that in real life though. But I've been in some dangerous ass mud. Hell, I've been in some nasty ass mud in the Tusk. Jimmy says the island at Walborn Res has that sandy mud on its banks. Yeah. It's weird shit. Yeah, this one lake we went to when I was a kid, different parts of it, it have different consistencies. Some of it you could stand on and you were cool. It didn't seem to give. And then other parts, you just start sinking into it slowly. And that was creepy. You had to keep on the move to keep from sinking in this shit. I have a cousin that lives in the community of Luna Lake. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's over by Clinton. Small community around a small lake called Luna Lake. And they've got a floating kind of dock thing for people to swim to. And they've got a little beach there. And you can dive off of that. If you dive off of that feet first, you sink to the bottom, and then there are several feet of mud that your legs go through, which is kind of creepy. You're underwater, I don't know, 10, 12 feet, I don't know how many feet, and then your feet go, 3-4 feet into the mud. It's kind of freaky. Sean says, I heard quicksand is not as dangerous as the movies make it out to be, but people rarely are killed by it and is relatively easy to escape from as long as you know what to do. Yeah. Well, like I said, I've seen a lot of different kinds of mud. I've never seen it act like in the movies, so the quicksand. But, I think the quicksand thing is a really good dramatic thing for movies, a lot of the times the quicksand is almost like a monster in movies. I'm not saying people don't get killed by it. I imagine people do, but Jimmy says, wow, I used to know an Indian girl, feathers, not dots, who lived there. Okay, you've heard of the place I'm talking about then. Wow. Luna Lake, that is. Okay. Yeah, it's a small place. It's nice. It's, my cousin will host family reunion often and have it there, which is nice. You got a nice pavilion, and you can go fishing or swimming. He's got a boat and all that good shit. But yeah, Luna Lake is nice little place. But private community, which is cool if you live there. That'd be pretty rad. But beautiful place. Which, of course, My family being Metro Billy's, just one cousin lives there, you know. The first time we had a reunion there almost ended in arrests because I guess the idea is they have a clubhouse there. So if there's an event held in that little community, if you are to drink beer or something, I guess you're supposed to purchase it from the clubhouse there. Well, we didn't know that. Me and my cousins didn't know that. We brought our own beer into the community. And some locals didn't like that. So there was almost a riot there involving my family and some locals, I'll admit. Yeah. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but that's what happened. That's what happened, and the family reunion was cut a little bit short by the police. So, yeah, me and my cousins, some of my cousins had to hightail it out of there, but nice community. We've since had other family reunions there without any drama like that. But that's what happened the first time we had a family reunion there. Well, I guess the bartender from the clubhouse saw that we had our own beer, and that caused some problems. And, you know, my cousins were like, fuck you, you know. And it was pretty bad. But, you know, I'm going to defend my cousins and my family and say that at first, when we heard about the rule after we had already had all this beer, we offered to buy beer from the clubhouse, okay, as kind of a token of respect. But these people weren't having it. It was like they wanted us to get rid of all this beer we had just bought, and we're like, no, we ain't doing that shit. So it got Metro Billy there for a second. So I'm not gonna say my family was in the wrong, but you know, these people had some brass balls because they walked right up on our family reunion and started bitching about it to us, and I'm like, these people really got some nuts. You know, because you're about to get mobbed here, you know. Sean says, BYOB, bring your own beer, LOL. Yeah, but we didn't know that. And like I said, when we found out that was a rule, okay, we tried to buy some beer from them just to be, you know, respectful of their rules and stuff, but they wanted us to, like, completely, you know, dump the beers we had in our hands and all this other shit, and you know, you try and tell that to a family of people who've been sitting around drinking beer, that's a stupid ass idea. So, it didn't go over well. I will quote one of, there was an older fellow who came down with the Tendris, you know, I guess to try and back her up or whatever. I believe one of my cousins offered to knock the gray out of the old man's mustache. Yes, unquote. Yeah, so there you go. Another little memory from my life there for you guys to hear about. But we've had plenty of occasions there afterwards with no problems. But yeah, you can take the people out of the hills, but you can't take the hills out of the people, I guess. So. It just goes to warn you, if you guys ever think about causing trouble at some, you know, Scots-Irish family reunion, don't do it. It's a mistake. One that could end up getting your ass kicked for it. Bad idea. Yeah. But anyways, that happened like that. That's how that shit went down. Family reunions, always a good time, right? So, anybody else have any dramatic family reunions? We've had some dramatic weddings, too. Let's see, Jimmy says, gotta go deal with my own car drama now. SMH. Great show as always, sir. I'm leaving on the best line of this show, LMAO. I'll knock the gray out of your stash. All right. Well, thank you, sir, for being on the show and participating, Jimmy. You have a great day, and did you know I mean it when I say good luck with your car drama? Because I know all about that shit. So best of luck with that stuff, dude. And I mean it. Because it's not fun being at the mercy of vehicular problems. It's terrible. So be good and be safe, dude. I've totally not kept an eye on the time at all. Now it's 1:34 and I should be getting off of here. Should be wrapping it up. Which people told me I should have been doing that years ago, right? But yeah, I gotta wrap it up, guys, and get myself down to that treadmill and do some walking. Get some exercise on. Let's see. Jimmy says, you have a good day also. Thank you for the well-wishing. I'll need it. Yeah, well, I hope it does go good for you, buddy. Sean says, I remember I broke my fibula at one. His was in around the second grade and decided to jump off the top of one of those tunnels you crawl through. I don't even know what the hell fibula is. Is that the arm or the leg? That's the arm, right? Shows how much I know about anatomy, right? Oh, wow. You broke your shit. Sounds painful. See, knock on wood, and I hope it's the only stuff I ever break. I've broken toes. So, and probably foot bones, as you guys know. But yeah, I'm going to have to get going. Okay, Sean says it's in the foot. Ow. I know what foot pain feels like. Yeah. Family reunions are fun, though. I love them. Let's see. Sean says, I didn't know what it was until I broke it. That's how a lot of that shit works, you know, like ailments and sicknesses and stuff. You know, you don't know what the hell they are or anything about them until it happens to you, and then all of a sudden you kind of get to be an expert. Sean says, have a good day, Paul. Tell Jimmy I said hi. I will. I'll tell Jimmy, my daughter's baby doll, hi. That Jimmy. I will tell him you said hi. But yeah, I'm going to hop off here, guys, and wish you guys a great day. And of course, wish anybody who ends up seeing this later, after the fact, after it's recorded, I'm going to wish you guys a great day and thanks for watching. Mike, take care of yourself. Sean, take care of yourself. Thanks for participating, guys. As always, a wonderful time. And I hope you guys have fantastic days. And I wish the best for everybody. And until tomorrow for another Wasted Lunch, I'll see you later. Bye.